Ivan had a difficult childhood. His parents were alcoholics and often neglected him, leaving him to fend for himself. Ivan quickly learned to become self-reliant and independent. But despite the hardships, he had a bright future ahead of him. Ivan was a straight-A student and excelled in science and math. One day, when Ivan was 10 years old, he was playing near a construction site when he fell into a deep pit. He was badly injured, and his leg was stuck under a heavy piece of equipment. Ivan cried for help, but no one could hear him. Just when he thought it was the end, a man appeared out of nowhere and saved him. The man was a doctor who had been passing by and heard his cries. He quickly assessed Ivan's injuries and pulled him out of the pit. The doctor called an ambulance and stayed with Ivan until it arrived. He comforted Ivan and made sure he was taken to the hospital. Ivan's injuries were severe, but thanks to the doctor's quick action, he made a full recovery. Ivan was forever grateful to the doctor who saved his life. 10 years had passed since the accident, and Ivan had not seen the doctor since that day. He had graduated from college and started working as an engineer. One day, as Ivan was walking to work, he saw a man sleeping on the sidewalk. The man was dirty, disheveled, and looked like he had not slept or eaten in days. But as Ivan got closer, he recognized the man. It was the doctor who had saved his life. Ivan was shocked and saddened to see the state of the man who had once been his hero. He decided to do something to help him. He went to a nearby store and bought food and water for the doctor. Ivan then sat down next to the doctor and talked to him. The doctor did not recognize Ivan at first, but as he listened to Ivan's story, he remembered the accident and Ivan's name. Ivan told the doctor how grateful he was for what he had done for him. He explained that he had become an engineer and had built a successful career thanks to the second chance the doctor had given him. Ivan thanked the doctor and told him that he would never forget his kindness. The doctor was moved by Ivan's words. He had been struggling with addiction and depression for years and had lost hope that he could ever make a difference in the world. But Ivan's gratitude gave him a glimmer of hope. The doctor decided to get help and turn his life around. Years later, Ivan received a letter from the doctor. The letter explained that he had gone back to school and become a professor of medicine. He was now teaching a new generation of doctors how to save lives. The doctor wrote that Ivan's gratitude had given him the strength to keep going when he thought all was lost. He thanked Ivan for being his inspiration and for reminding him of the importance of helping others. The unexpected ending was that Ivan's gratitude did not just help the doctor, it also inspired him to become a better person and make a difference in the world. Ivan was overjoyed to hear the news about the doctor's success. He felt a sense of pride knowing that his simple act of kindness had made such a significant impact on the doctor's life. Ivan knew that the doctor's success was a testament to his own resilience and determination to overcome adversity. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. As the years went by, Ivan and the doctor kept in touch, exchanging letters and occasional phone calls. Ivan was always happy to hear about the doctor's latest accomplishments and the new ways he was making a difference in the world. Then one day, Ivan received a call from the doctor's wife. She explained that the doctor had been diagnosed with a terminal illness and had only a few weeks left to live. The news hit Ivan hard. He felt a sense of loss and sadness that he could not explain. Ivan decided to visit the doctor one last time. He flew across the country to see him and arrived at the hospital where the doctor was receiving treatment. As Ivan walked into the room, he saw the doctor lying in bed, hooked up to machines and surrounded by family. The doctor's face lit up when he saw Ivan. He smiled weakly and motioned for Ivan to come closer. Ivan took the doctor's hand and sat down beside him. The doctor looked at Ivan with tears in his eyes and said, "I never thought I would make it this far. But thanks to you, I was able to find the strength to keep going. You gave me hope when I had none, and I will never forget that." Ivan was touched by the doctor's words. He had always known that his gratitude had helped the doctor, but he never realized how much it had meant to him. As the hours passed, Ivan and the doctor talked about their lives, their dreams, and their hopes for the future. Ivan realized that he had never felt closer to the doctor than he did in that moment. They had both come a long way from that day in the construction site, but they had never forgotten the bond that had brought them together. In the end, the doctor passed away peacefully, surrounded by loved ones. Ivan left the hospital feeling a mix of emotions: sadness, gratitude, and a sense of fulfillment. He realized that the unexpected ending to this story was not just about thanking the doctor, but about the power of gratitude and how it can transform lives. Ivan knew that he would never forget the lessons he had learned from the doctor, and that he would always be grateful for the impact he had made on his life. After the doctor's passing, Ivan felt a deep sense of loss. He knew that he had lost a dear friend and mentor, someone who had played a significant role in his life. But he also knew that the doctor had left a legacy that would continue to inspire and impact others for years to come. In memory of the doctor, Ivan decided to create a scholarship fund for students who wanted to pursue a career in medicine. He knew that the doctor had always believed in the power of education and had encouraged him to follow his dreams. Ivan wanted to honor his friend's memory by helping others achieve their own goals. Over the next few years, the scholarship fund grew, and Ivan was able to help many aspiring doctors and medical professionals. Each year, he received letters from grateful students who expressed their appreciation for the opportunity to pursue their dreams. Ivan was always moved by their stories and felt proud to know that he was making a difference in the world, just as the doctor had done before him. 10 years had passed since the doctor's passing, and Ivan was now in his 70s. He had retired from his construction job and spent most of his time volunteering at local charities and organizations. One day, while he was out walking in the park, he saw a young man sitting on a bench, looking dejected. Ivan walked over to the young man and asked him if he was okay. The young man explained that he had just received a rejection letter from medical school and was feeling discouraged. Ivan listened intently to the young man's story and felt a sense of familiarity in his words. He asked the young man if he had ever heard of the doctor who had saved his life. The young man shook his head, and Ivan proceeded to tell him about the doctor's life and the impact he had made on both of their lives. As Ivan spoke, he saw a glimmer of hope in the young man's eyes. "Don't forget to subscribe to my channel." He knew that he had touched a nerve and that his words had resonated with him. Ivan felt a sense of fulfillment, knowing that he had once again made a difference in someone's life, just as the doctor had done for him. As Ivan turned to leave, the young man called out to him. He said, "Thank you, sir. Your words have given me hope, and I will never forget them." Ivan smiled and walked away, feeling a sense of satisfaction that he had honored the doctor's memory in his own way. He knew that the unexpected ending to this story was not just about thanking the doctor, but about paying it forward and inspiring others to do the same. Ivan knew that the doctor would be proud of him, and that thought brought him comfort and joy. As Ivan continued to walk through the park, he couldn't help but reflect on the unexpected turns his life had taken. He remembered the day when he was just a young boy, trapped under a pile of rubble, and how the doctor had come to his rescue. He remembered the fear and uncertainty he had felt, and the sense of gratitude he had felt when the doctor saved his life. And now, all these years later, he was still feeling that same sense of gratitude, but this time it was for a different reason. He was grateful for the opportunity to make a difference in someone else's life, just as the doctor had made a difference in his. Ivan knew that life was full of unexpected twists and turns, but he also knew that it was up to each of us to make the most of the opportunities we were given. He knew that the doctor had lived his life with purpose and passion, and he was determined to do the same. As Ivan made his way back home, he decided to make a few phone calls. He wanted to reach out to some old friends and reconnect with people he had lost touch with over the years. He knew that life was short, and he wanted to make the most of every moment. Over the next few months, Ivan reconnected with old friends and even made some new ones. He started volunteering at a local hospital, where he was able to meet new people and help others in need. He felt a renewed sense of purpose and vitality, and he knew that the doctor would have been proud of him. And so, as Ivan approached his twilight years, he did so with a sense of peace and contentment. He knew that he had lived a good life, one that was full of love, friendship, and purpose. And as he closed his eyes for the last time, he knew that he was ready for whatever came next, secure in the knowledge that he had made a difference in the world, just as the doctor had done before him. As Ivan took his last breath, he felt a sense of peace wash over him. He knew that his time on this earth was coming to an end, but he also knew that his legacy would live on. In the years since the doctor had passed away, Ivan had dedicated his life to helping others. He had created a scholarship fund to support aspiring doctors and medical professionals, and he had spent countless hours volunteering at local charities and organizations. As news of Ivan's passing spread, tributes and condolences poured in from all over the world. Students who had received scholarships from Ivan's fund wrote heartfelt letters, expressing their gratitude for the opportunities he had given them. Colleagues and friends praised him for his kindness, generosity, and unwavering commitment to helping others. But perhaps the most touching tribute of all came from a young doctor who had just graduated from medical school. In his commencement speech, he spoke about the impact that Ivan and the doctor had made on his life, and how their examples had inspired him to become the kind of doctor who always put his patients first. He spoke about the importance of kindness, compassion, and empathy, and how these qualities were often more powerful than any medicine or treatment. He spoke about the value of giving back, and how even the smallest act of kindness could have a ripple effect that would extend far beyond the individual who received it. As the young doctor finished his speech, there was not a dry eye in the house. People clapped, cheered, and embraced one another, united in their appreciation for Ivan's legacy and the impact he had made on so many lives. And so, as Ivan's family and friends gathered to say their final goodbyes, they did so with a sense of gratitude and hope. They knew that Ivan had lived a life that was truly meaningful, and that his legacy would continue to inspire and uplift others for years to come. As they stood around Ivan's grave, they remembered the doctor who had saved his life all those years ago, and they knew that Ivan was now reunited with his dear friend and mentor. They knew that the unexpected ending to this story was not an ending at all, but rather a new beginning filled with hope, love, and the enduring power of the human spirit. As the sun began to set on the day of Ivan's funeral, a gentle breeze stirred the leaves of the trees in the cemetery. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Ivan's family and friends stood in silence, their heads bowed in prayer as they remembered the man they had loved and admired. Suddenly, a sound caught their attention. It was the sound of a violin, playing a hauntingly beautiful melody that seemed to come from nowhere. Everyone turned to look, and there, standing at the edge of the cemetery, was a young woman, holding a violin in her hands. As she continued to play, her music filled the air, washing over the mourners like a balm. Her playing was so beautiful, so pure, that it seemed to lift their spirits and fill their hearts with hope. When the young woman finished her song, she looked up and smiled at Ivan's family and friends. "My name is Anna," she said. "I didn't know Ivan, but I heard about his life and his legacy, and I wanted to pay my respects in my own way." Anna's music had touched everyone's hearts, and they knew that it was a sign of something special. They knew that Ivan's legacy would continue to live on, not just in the lives he had touched directly, but in the countless others who had been inspired by his example. As Ivan's family and friends said their final goodbyes, they knew that they would always carry his memory with them. They knew that his life had been a gift, and that his legacy would continue to inspire and uplift them, even in the darkest of times. And so, as the sun set on that day, Ivan's family and friends walked away from the cemetery, knowing that Ivan's spirit would live on forever in the hearts and minds of all who had been touched by his life. They knew that his story was not just an unexpected ending, but a beautiful beginning filled with hope, love, and the enduring power of the human spirit. Years went by, and Ivan's legacy continued to inspire people. His scholarship fund had grown in size, providing more and more aspiring medical professionals with the financial support they needed to pursue their dreams. His acts of kindness and compassion had touched countless lives, and his memory was kept alive through the stories and memories shared by those who had known him. One day, many years after Ivan's passing, a young doctor named Maria received the news that she had been awarded a scholarship from Ivan's fund. She was overjoyed, knowing that this would help her achieve her dream of becoming a pediatrician. Maria worked tirelessly to complete her medical degree, always keeping Ivan's example in mind. She graduated at the top of her class and went on to complete her residency in pediatrics. Years later, Maria found herself working at a hospital in a war-torn country. The situation was dire, with limited resources and supplies, but Maria was determined to do everything in her power to help the children who had been affected by the conflict. One day, as she was working in the emergency room, a patient was rushed in who was badly injured. As Maria began to assess the patient, she realized that it was the homeless man who had saved Ivan's life so many years ago. Maria was stunned. She knew that Ivan had often talked about the man who had saved his life, but she had never expected to meet him. She also knew that she had to do everything in her power to save his life, just as he had saved Ivan's all those years ago. Maria worked tirelessly, using every skill and resource at her disposal to stabilize the man's condition. Despite the odds, the man pulled through, and Maria was able to save his life. As the man began to recover, Maria sat with him and listened as he told his story. She learned that he had been a doctor once, just like Ivan, but had fallen on hard times and ended up on the streets. He had never forgotten the oath he had taken as a doctor, however, and had continued to use his skills and knowledge to help those around him, even in the duress of circumstances. Maria was deeply moved by the man's story, and she knew that she had to do something to help him. She contacted Ivan's family and friends, and together they were able to provide the man with the support and resources he needed to get back on his feet. Years went by, and the man, whose name was Dr. Mahmoud, went on to become a respected and beloved physician in his own right. He dedicated his life to helping those in need, just as Ivan and Maria had done before him. And so, as the years passed, Ivan's legacy continued to inspire people, even in the most unexpected ways. His kindness, compassion, and dedication to helping others had touched countless lives, and his memory would live on forever in the hearts and minds of all who had been touched by his life. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel.